Okay, so I'm in this Facebook group that has lots of weirdos. This one guy sent a private message asking if we could meet up during the night in the forest, naked, to perform a satanic ritual. And then he didn't even turn up. Figure that. Welcome to Shave&Butcher, a wet shaving channel. Today I'm going to use some of the very best gear that I have, some of my favorite things, and I'm going to try to explain what it is I'm doing throughout the shave. Maybe someone thinks that's helpful, and talk less nonsense. We'll see if that works out. Probably not. The razor to start with is probably my best razor. This is a Filarmonica 14. It's a Spanish razor made in the 1900s sometime, so it's not new. It has gold plated etchings, which is in pretty good condition. This is a large razor. It is 1 inch wide, like this, which is quite large. It is quite, it's quite concave, so that's called a hollow razor. Some razors don't have the grinding like that. They're more straight, but this is quite hollow, and it's good stuff. The soap I'm going to use is from Zingari Man from America. This is coconut nanas, and it's absolutely spectacular. It smells good. It's a very well performing soap, and it's beautiful. So it's well used, but look at how that's poured. It's like I don't know, the aging of a tree or something. Very nice touch. A lot of soap makers ignore that. They just throw it in, but this, 30 odd shaves into it, and it still looks beautiful. Zingari Man also make a recovery splash, so it's an aftershave product. No alcohol, but it has witch hazel in it, and it's magical for bringing the skin back to a beautiful condition. The brush is, well, favorite brush, always hard to say. This is quite possibly one of my best. It's also a rather pretty one. This is Paladin. It's German. It's black, but it looks good. It has a pattern to it. It's called Winston. It's 28 millimeter wide at the base. It's very thick. It has a bulb shape, pretty much. So that's what we're doing. The razor I have stropped it already. There's loads of videos on stropping, so I won't go through that. And it's just something you have to learn. It's quite difficult to do it correctly. This is a badger brush, so it's natural hairs. You want to let them soak for a while, 5, 10, 20, whatever minutes, so that they're saturated with water. And then I just load. How much you load and for how long you load depends on a lot of things. It depends on the brush. If you have a natural hair brush and a thick brush, they tend to absorb or eat more soap lather, so you need more product in order to get enough out on your face. Synthetic brushes and smaller brushes in general need less, so you'll figure it out eventually. I like to load more soap than I actually need to, because it's fun, and that's more fun than having not enough. But if you don't have enough, you go back and you load some more. That's caked with loads of stuff. So damp brush, soaking, and I squeezed it, and I have not a lot of water in it, not a lot of excess water outside the bristles. And I like that, because then I can control the moisture content of the lather I'm building. So I add water. So I'm painting this onto the face, and it has a toothpaste kind of consistency. And then I splay the brush quite a bit, and I work the soap into the whiskers of the face, and basically soap plus water plus agitation is what builds a lather. So this is very dry, too dry. I want a wet lather. What you want, you'll figure out if you don't know it already. So I'm putting the tap on, and I'm putting the brush under the tap, just the tips. You can do it in different ways. You can have a bit of water in your hand and put it on the brush like that. That works just fine as well. And then I just agitate more. And as you can see probably, this is beautiful. The lather grows and it becomes more wet and more slick. And I typically test it like this to see, you want nice peaks like that. So different soaps require different amounts of water, and you can make that into a science. I don't. I typically, as I said, load more soap than I need because it's fun and it's not very expensive. And I have a lot of soaps and I like to use them quite a bit. So this is beautiful. It's good to shave with. I'm actually going to put even more water in because I think that's fun, and I like it when the soap or the lather falls off the razor. Silly, you don't need that, but it's fun. So I'm painting this little water that I add all the time, gradually. Lather all everywhere. I have way too much soap here. Paint it in carefully and then just agitate to create a good consistency lather. So I have 100, 200, I don't know, soaps. I'll never use all of them. I'm going to give some away. So I can waste soap. You don't have to, and then you can figure out how much you need to load the brush for each specific brush and soap, if you have more than one. And you can nail it down to a precise science. But different people prefer different kinds of lather in terms of how thick they are or how wet they are, etc. Then I take my razor, which is dropped. I try not to get too much water onto this part of the razor, because if it comes in here, you can get corrosion. This is carbon steel. It's not stainless steel, so it rusts. Then I shave. I try to keep a low angle. I keep the razor almost flat to the face, and then I turn it a bit to get a bit of an angle, and then I start shaving. I hold my hand like this and stretch the skin so that there are no wrinkles or dents where the razor can dig into, basically. How much you have to stretch your skin depends on your face and your wrinkles, etc. Let's see if that falls off the razor. Yeah, that's the way I like it. You don't need it as wet as that, but I do. It's fun. Can you hear it sing? That's when it cuts the hair. Beautiful. So I have to do a bit of a digging motion to get in under the nose. And really, I use the smallest angle I can. If you have no angle, it doesn't cut hair, so there's no point. With the smallest angle possible. So I rinse it under the tap. I try to hold it like this, so there's no water up here, right? Okay, other side. So I shave the left side of my face with my right hand and vice versa. Some people do the opposite. They shave the right hand of their face with the right hand and left side with the left hand. Whatever is comfortable for you, really. I use very little pressure. I'm thinking, let the razor do the work. Obviously you need a hand and you need a little bit of, pressure. But I try to think, let the weight of the razor be the only force. Oops. That's how I think anyway. I used to press too much. I did that for years. And that doesn't help you get a closer shave. All it does is makes the shave uncomfortable. I do 2 passes. So I shave once and I shave another time. You can do 1 pass. So just shave everything once. You can do 3 passes. A lot of people do that, where you shave essentially with the growth and then across the growth, and then either across again from the other side or against the growth. I shave the first pass essentially with the grain. So my hair grows in different directions, down, to the side, upwards with a twist. But first pass essentially with the grain. What I try to do is remove as much hair as possible. And the second pass is then to get really close to the skin. So here, where you have concave areas, it's important to make sure you can move your head and use your fingers to make sure you have as flat a surface on the skin as possible. But then you get everything, and the razor doesn't skip, and you get less blood and less irritation and so forth. Okay. I just wet my fingers and to get a feel through. You can rinse all the residual lather off, or you can keep it. You can add water or not. It's up to you, really. You easily get into a habit, a routine that you follow. And my routine is I typically wet my hands and move them over the face, mainly to feel the face, to see what the result was in the first pass. Typically you know what it's like if you've done it many times. And sometimes the shave is bad because you have a bad day, or your skin is bad, often due to dehydration or being out in the winter or something. One thing you can do in the winter is you can sort of 10-15 minutes before the shave, you can put a bit of moisturizing lotion or aftershave balm or something on the face to sort of prep it. I can't explain exactly what that does to the skin, but it helps me in the winter. One thing I should have mentioned is you can hold the razor in many different ways. I hold it quite untraditionally. Most people hold the razor like this. They put the scales up, put 2 fingers on this side of the scales on top of the razor and the thumb below to get a good grip, and then on the tang you put 1 finger, and sometimes you can put 2 depending on how long it is. that gives you a firm grip, and you're able to manipulate the razor very well. So that's the most common and perhaps most attractive way to hold it. I hold it like a bread knife because it's, or most of the time I do, because it suits me. Some people get offended almost and call it an, what's the word in English? Abomination. So when you shave against the growth, which is what I'm doing now, having the skin stretched is quite important. Because you get more resistance. And then your strokes can be short or long. You can do like that, or you can do like that and go all the way. It's, you know, whatever works for you. Now under the nose is cool, is challenging. Cool guys go up with a sharp edge towards the nose. I can do that, but I typically bleed quite a bit. I haven't really mastered that. So I go sideways on the second pass. In order to do that effectively, I need to stretch the skin, and the soap is so slippery. So I take an alum block, which is a good thing to have anyway at home. You can use that to sort of heal up a bit after the shave. It's an astringent, that's it, that's the word. It takes all the soap away anyway, so you get a good grip. So I stretch and I go sideways. Careful not to cut the nose. And here, it's, you know, I have a concave areas and more skin, so I put the finger under there to get it stretched. And I go up. Yeah, that feels good. That's a nice close shave. And I rinse it every once in a while. Again, holding it downwards and making sure I don't get anything up here, because then you get rust. And rust is bad. Okay, other side. So you can, as long as you don't get irritation, you can play around with many passes and different directions for a long time. It's good fun. You want to be careful here in the corners of the mouth. I used to get bleeding and irritation every time I shaved for three years of shaving almost every day. So dumb. And I thought that was the way it had to be, until I figured out that if I do the corners of the mouth with even less pressure than the rest of the face, it's okay. And I go slow as well. So I had alum again on the fingers so I can stretch. So it's completely unnecessary to have a razor that is as large as this one is. It makes no sense. It's cool and it looks good. I have even bigger razors, and it's ridiculous. But you know, having a car that is too big for you is also ridiculous. There are so many ridiculous things we do Now I've had fingers down here stretching, so I put on another coating. Shaving the neck is typically, the neck and the chin and around the mouth are the trickiest areas, no surprise. So I go essentially downwards on the neck. There's a bit of blood there. That's what happens if you shave too close to the blood. It starts coming out. So very little pressure. Let the razor do the job. So I have a teeny bit here, which will come from when I put the razor edge onto the face. It's a small one. I didn't feel it, so it's not really a cut. It's more of a, we call it a weeper. So that will go away with cold water, and if it doesn't, I rub this thing on after the shave and we close this up typically. Voila. Now I could do touch-ups to get to what is called a BBS shave, baby bottom smooth shave, which is a bit of a disgusting expression, isn't it? But I won't, because I don't feel I need to, and I have a very close shave anyway. So I'm just cold water, you can use warm water. I'm going to rinse down here, forgive me. Yeah, good result, good result. Again, there are areas which are really hard to get and where the growth is in a tornado shape, and it's almost impossible to get everything out. But this is close enough, and when you shave with a straight razor as opposed to a double-edged or a safety razor, most of the time you feel less hair and stubble on your face when you rub it after half an hour than you do straight after the shave. It's like, I can't explain it, but there is an explanation. So recovery splash, you need to shake this up. Most aftershaves you want to shake up. So pouring a bit of this nice stuff in. Coconut nanas. It smells terrific. So foodie or gourmand scents aren't my favorites, but this one is spectacular. Okay, I hope that was useful in some way. Apart from this, check your stropping technique. It's very easy to ruin the edge if you strop incorrectly. What I do after the shave is I rinse the blade carefully and make sure there's nothing left, or you rub it with your finger, trying not to cut yourself, and then I take a clean dry towel and I wipe it like this. You almost don't want to get, that's not a dry towel. Let's take a dry towel. You kind of don't want to touch the edge of the razor, but at the same time you kind of need to get it clean. So I wipe it very carefully, horizontally, so I want to get it clean, and I think it is. After that, I strop it a few times, like 10 times, either on the leather side, but I use the linen side that I have, and then I take a piece of toilet paper, I put it in between the scales to make sure there's no water there, and I rub the paper around the tang, or the this pinned area, to make sure it's dry, and then I leave it to dry. If it's dry inside, I can put it like this. I leave it outside to dry for a good while, till the next morning or the next evening, and then I put it away in a box or wherever I keep it, because it's really important that it's dry. And never keep straight razors in humid areas. Never keep them in the bathroom, ever. Okay, that wasn't everything you need to know about straight razor shaving, but it was a few things, and you know, there you go, for what it's worth. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Stay sharp.